All right. Hey, dude. Hey. How we doing? Yeah. Hey, guys. How's it going? It's me, Josh Halter, owner and founder of the BioDude here in Houston, Texas. You can come visit my store Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2. I actually have one of my Cubans here in front of me. We were just doing chin scratches. We were drinking right after misting. So I have a really exciting build video that I'm going to show you guys today. So one of my 75s came in broken, so I had Audrey repurpose it. So that way we can still use it, and I have it right here. Now what I'm building for today, I've done this build video before, but this is a whole new project of mine. Now this is a project that I've wanted for a very, very, very long time. I remember when the first albinos that I saw came out in 2006 or something like that, and I wanted them so bad. Now this is probably one of my favorite species of gecko that I like to keep. This is African fat-tailed geckos, which is really, really cool. So here's 3 of them right here. So we actually have another one that Audrey is still seeking out. So African fat-tailed geckos, these guys are from West Africa. And what's really cool about these guys is they're very similar to leopard geckos, but their care is different. Like leopard geckos, they are crepuscular, which means they are active at dawn and dusk. Like leopard geckos, they have eyelids. So they have the ability to close their eyes. They still lick their eyes occasionally, but they are really calm critters. Now, these are not your typical African fat-tailed geckos. Now, these guys have, oh no, here's the other one. We were just hiding. Hey, sweetie. So this is actually a group of 3 girls and 1 female. So they get the name fat-tailed geckos because of their caterpillar-like tail. Now, as you know, just like leopard geckos, their tail is segmented, which allows them to drop it in the event of a danger. So this big boy, this is big boy. So he is an Oreo whiteout stripe. This is a female. And this is one of my girls. She's an albino, which is pretty cool. And then we got a caramel stripe right here. So this is my smallest girl. So these guys have been in quarantine now for a while. And we got them wormed and checked and all that stuff before I even bring them anywhere near here. And this is another Oreo whiteout female. So one thing that I always pay close attention to when you find these guys is you always want to check their little feet. So like leopard geckos, they do not have lamella on their feet. They have little itty-bitty claws, which makes it so that way if your husbandry is not on point, sometimes they can lose some of their toenails from the constriction of the shed that's left. And you can actually see big boy, he's not missing any toes, but he is missing a couple claws from his previous owner. Now, I purchased these guys as individually, but they are proven, and they came originally from Europe, which is pretty cool. So I'm really excited to get building today. I'm really excited to get this started. Let's get building. So what I have here in front of me, I'm going to start with the lighting. So lighting is super important with these guys. Being crepuscular like the leopard geckos, we are offering a UVB source. So if you want to come up over here, I'm offering 3 different types of lighting. This big long strip right here, this is a 36-inch BioDude solar grow. And then we have 2 BioDude 12-inch solar grows right here. As you can see, all 3 of them are piggybacked together. So I have this 36-inch fixture right here with a plant bulb. That does around 6,500 kelvins for plants. Then I have the long connecting connector right here, which is plugging into this 12-inch 7% Arcadia shade dweller. Okay. And then we also have another 7% Arcadia shade dweller here. Now what that means is for the shade dweller is the UVB percentage is going to be pretty low. So I'm actually going to put it underneath so that way you guys can kind of see with them getting this close to it, what amount of UVB they may be exposed to during the morning. So we're barely at the high end of Ferguson Zone 1. And then as we move down, we're literally on the very bottom scale, which is really good for a species like this. Okay. Now we're gonna be, we check our UVB bulbs in-house with this. Every single cage is done once a month. These are rated for a year, but again, we always check. So on the top here, I'm running Exoterra Reptile Dome. This is the 6-inch version, not the 8-inch. And for the heat, I am going with a 50-watt halogen Arcadia bulb. So I'm actually trying the 50-watt first, and then I'm going to see how it goes. I am also tossing around the idea of the 75-watt. So in here currently is the 75-watt. So once everything gets set up and established, if I have to downgrade, I'm going to downgrade to this 50-watt bulb. So the tank itself, this is a Tetrafauna 75-gallon deluxe. Now I love these enclosures. One, the screens don't rust. Two, they have a decent substrate lip. Number three, they have a bulkhead here and a bulkhead here for cords to go in and out. And it also allows you to keep small turtles in here. When I say small turtles, I mean like neonatal turtles that get like this big, that are this big, excuse me, because of how not so deep the water is. But it allows you to put a sump in here, be able to move water in and out, and of course put filter tubes through here. So these tanks have endless possibilities. And as you can see, I put tape over this. I removed the doors, so that way I don't get any substrate in the glass tracking. Pro tip. So for substrate, I'm actually going to use my terra firma for these guys. During their entire quarantining process, I was keeping them in a 36 by 18 by 18 together. Now, I would never recommend keeping 4 adult fat tails and a 40 breeder. That's not going to work. We are going to attempt to keep all 4 of these guys in this 75, but I'm going to be paying very close attention to Big Boy. And if Big Boy is stressing out my girls too much with consistently wanting to breed or not allowing them to kind of take a step back, I'll be putting him in his own enclosure. For a single fat tail gecko, the minimum of a 20-gallon long to get the heat and humidity gradients that they need is recommended, but honestly, a 29-gallon would be good for a single as well. So what I am going to do is I'm going to start putting my firma in here. So I'm super lucky. My staff always has my stuff ready for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take one. Now, since my hot spot is on this side, I am going to be putting more of my substrate towards this back end. Now, my long-term hope with this enclosure, a couple things. Number one, obviously, we're going to make it to be the self-cleaning, self-maintaining with the different microbial processes that we use, bacterial processes that we use, as well as your various cleanup crew. So this is approximately 72 quarts of substrate. So what I'm going to do first, and now I'm going to start spreading this out, and I'm just going to get a look here as far as my depth and what I'm happy with. I know this group is going to breed, so I'm going to obviously be paying very close attention to the girls, like I mentioned before. But I'm also going to be providing opportunity zones for egg laying without a hide box, which is going to be super. It's going to be a test because it's going to make it harder for us to find the eggs, but we pay such close attention to our critters here that it's going to be pretty hard to miss if any of them are going to be gravid. Because like leopard geckos, you can see their eggs through the abdomen, and they almost always lay in pairs. So 2 eggs. Once in a while, you'll get a female that'll only lay 1. But, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this 3rd bag. Perfect. So I'm happy with the depth over here, but I'm really going to make it deep on this side, especially towards this back corner. My intention is from here over is where they're going to have the ability to pick, okay, this is where I can lay my eggs. This is where if I want to be, on this side it can be a little bit more humid and hot. On this side it can be slightly less humid but cooler. Lots of options, which is super important for this species. After that, I'm really happy with how my soil looks. I am going to take my soil inoculant, my BioShots, and I got 3 36-quart BioShots that I am mixing in here. Now, essentially what the BioShot is pretty simple. It is essential fungi, which is, your mycorrhizae, which just has so many different strains in it. Your archaea bacteria, which helps getting your positive bacteria and keeping bad bacteria out, as well as a natural fertilizer and a 4:4:4 NPK ratio, which helps prevent shock in your plants. There are some products like it, but none like it. That's what I like to say. Okay, so I dig it. Pretty good. So we got the BioShot mixed in there. Now I'm going to take some spag moss. I'm going to mix in some spag. So I'm going to be concentrating my spag on one side a little bit heavier than I would the hot side. And that's because, like I mentioned earlier, the hot side, while it might dry out a little bit more, it's going to be more of an extreme humidity because it's going to be like a little sauna. So you can see how I'm mixing the moss in here. I like to mix it in the bucket. If it comes in the bag, you can always just dump it in the bag and squeeze it and aerate it. Okay, so what I'm going to do next, this is perfect. It's wet, not dripping. Not too bad. I need a little bit more up here. Next, I'm going to take some leaf litter and I'm going to put in some leaves. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys are asking, BioDude, why do I need all this moss? Why do I need all these leaves? So I want you guys to think as the leaves and the moss to not only help create your microclimate, but they are also fuel for your custodians in your soil as your soil microbes and funguses break it down, turning it into viable nutrients for your plants, such as nitrogen. Some of the processes will start to form symbiotic relationships with your plants to help for better root systems. Better root systems means better aeration in your soil. Better aeration in your soil means healthier soil, healthier cleanup crew populations, i.e., you're doing bio the right way. So, like that right there. All right. All right, so I dig it. Now, I know that they have their favorite cave, which I'm going to show you guys in a minute. So what I'm going to do first is now I'm going to take a little bit more moss, right like this here. Now, where their cave is going to be, which is going to be right here, I'm actually going to leave moss on top of the dirt. So that way, while the Firma is going to aerate just as well, it's going to make sure that this den is always really humid. And this is this rock right here. I don't know where this came from or how I got it, but I've been wanting to use it for a while, and it's great for the quarantine setup because we were able to disinfect it every day. So I'm going to actually take this and I'm going to put this right here. Okay, so you can see here that I put this over the top with a lot of the moss and stuff underneath. So I expect them to use this opportunity for a lot of different things. I also want to make sure I got their water bowl. Perfect. So I think what I'm going to do next, I got my cleanup crew here. I'm going to be putting their water bowl right here in the front and middle. So next I want to look at plants. So this plant right here, this is Dracaena. I'm actually going to put this right here in the back. So you can actually see this plant's almost getting root bound. I got to get it out of this pot. So what I'm going to do is pull that right out. Look at that. So this plant's been in my greenhouse for probably like 3 or 4 weeks. Okay. Now, it's really good to have your larger plants by some of your deepest soil points in your terrarium. So that way their root systems actually have a place to go. Okay, so I got that right there. Next is I want to start looking at what other types of hides do I want to provide for them So these guys aren't big into climbing, truthfully, but I'm not gonna give them things to per se climb on, but I'm gonna make sure to give them the ability to somewhat climb. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a little den under the hot spot right here, right like this. Yeah. Then I'm gonna take a little bit of moss like this. I'm gonna stuff it down there in the hole. Okay, perfect. I know, this is not a BioDude thing, but it's gonna be, it'll take care of itself, don't worry. So this is gonna be the thing that I'm talking about as far as the basking is concerned. So I got some rocks. Yeah, so got that rock right there for the hot end. We'll put this kind of right like this. Put that, there we go, there we go. All right, then I'm gonna take that and put this here. Okay, so I like that. Lots of options, guys. That's what's super important. So then we got some other plants. I love that we have an earth star like this because these earth stars can handle almost anything. So this is an Elaine earth star, like you guys see on my website. And it is a cryptanthus. Now this, I'm actually gonna put right here, because that hot spot is not too hot for this beauty to grow. Okay. Got a pothos. A little peperomia here. All right, I'm gonna put this right here. Next, start building up the levels of height. So it's really important to make sure that they still have their little burrows all over the place. So then we got this one right here. Put that here like this. Then I'm going to take this, put this here like this, put that here like this. Put that here like so. I lied, it's too big. You see this right here? They're gonna love that if I can use it right. So. They should be able to work their little slinky bodies up here. It's mainly this edge right here. That's better. Now they have something to work on. Okay. That rock right there. Now the question is, do I want to put this? I do. Right like that. Let me. I don't know if I'm sold on that. However, I'd be sold on this. All right, so I actually wanted something taller here for the back, and I wanted to grab this little jewel right here. There we go. Now, okay. Let's work out. Got some other plants right here. Exciting. So we got a Calathea lancifolia. We got a Sansevieria We got a spider plant and a pothos. You notice how I don't have a lot of stuff in the back? I'm kind of trying to keep it a little bit more open so that way I can kind of see how everything goes with them, with this. This piece has to be last. So next, I'm gonna put the I'm gonna actually put that right there. So my expectation is that the pothos right here is gonna creep on the multiple levels of in here, grow up top. Then we got the spider plant. Put that right here. I'm so glad I covered up the tracking. Okay. I got this. You guys can hear the Borneos in the background calling. I know it's taken me a bit, but I have to make sure that no matter where they are, that they can literally do or go anywhere without falling or whatever. This is a pretty good distance away. The rocks give decent support. Like this, I like this. Okay, so we got a Calathea or a Sansevieria right here. All right, so I actually have this. First, I got to figure out where this bad boy's going to go. I said in the beginning of the video it's going to go right here. Yeah. Honestly, I'm not going to use the Calathea. I'm going to go with the Sansevieria. I'm going to put it right here. There we go. That looks great. So, now the only other thing that I'm going to want to have in here that I'm actually most likely going to rotate out is the okay, so there will be a calcium dish right here for them to have access to. So kind of let me go over here what I did. There's multiple zones for basking. We have a basking rock right here. That's going to absorb a little bit of the heat. So this is a low-end basking spot. We have a high-end basking spot right here that they can easily climb to multiple different ways to get the thermogradient. We have a hot hide that's humid down here for shedding, respiration, and hydration. We have a hiding section under here. We have their main section under here, as well as multiple levels that they can sneak their little fat bodies under here, like so. Look at that. So, not a ton of plants covering up your back, but with how we have to build this for them, I'm really happy with it. We have a lot of open space here in the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put a little bit, I'm going to do a little bit of leaves, but first I'm going to take the springtails and isopods, I'm going to get them added. So the first place that I'm actually going to dump the springtails is I'm going to dump them right here under the water dish. Okay, and then I'm just going to cover, and I'm going to put the water dish right on top. Now, I did that because it's going to stay pretty humid under that water bowl, so that allows them to produce a little bit faster. We're going to go with two different species of isopods. We're going to go with powder white and powder and dwarf white. So the powder whites are right here, as you can see. So I'm going to dump that culture in here. Dwarf whites. Let me find them in here. Oh, and the moss here. There they go. See it? Okay, so I'm gonna, oh, there's another one. Okay, so I'm gonna dump those guys in here too. I don't expect them to outcompete each other. I say this for multiple reasons. Number one, the Prasiniuses, they need a lot of biomass, and they breed very quickly, which means you must have a good amount of leaf litter or palm bark or paperback bark, things like that in there that they can eat over time, because they're going to eat the cork. I can pretty much guarantee you that. However, the dwarf whites, they're going to spend all their time down here. That's where they're going to be. They might be under the water dish as well, but that's going to allow you to really make sure that you have multiple levels of aeration. Other types of cleanup crews, you can also use things like mealworms. You can use things like beetles, such as darkling beetles. As long as they're fed well, you don't have to worry about them harming your lizards. And you can also use earwigs, which earwigs are by far one of the best cleanup crews out there. They are the best soil aerators. They look angry, but I have them in every single one of my tanks in here, and all my tanks are thriving. So, all right. All right, so we have a spider plant right here. We have Dieffenbachia right here, which I'm gonna have to trim up and train, and a treat to make sure that doesn't outgrow the enclosure. We have a Pothos. This is looks like a marble queen. Yeah, a little bit of variegation right there. We have an Aglaonema, a Peperomia, a Sanservia, and an Elaine Cryptanthus. I believe them all right there. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this tank a really nice misting. Now, fat tails like to have their humidity around 40% ambient on the low side, with humidity spikes up to 65% at least twice a day. So in the morning and at night is when I recommend it. You want to make sure that they have a hot spot of about 88 to 92 with a cool side of around 70. It's very important. You want to make sure you have these humidity caves like I talked about with y'all here. You can use nighttime heat if you want, but I don't think it's that necessary. Maybe a 25 watt or a low moonlight. That is not a red bulb. You can go with the really dim moonlight features if you would like. As far as the rock is concerned, I don't know if I mentioned this is called 1,000 layer rock. I sell this at the Biodude Houston. Locally, I am unable to offer it via shipping right now, just because of how heavy it is. But I fully expect this tank to take over and grow and to do really, really well here overall, and to finally get these guys in their permanent setup. And I think it's time that we do that. So, I'm really excited about this. All right, little dudes. Dollars to dollars. I'm going to put them right here in the middle. They're going to go, I don't know, they might go down here. All right, so first, let's get Big Boy right here. Look at him. Freaking gorgeous. Like, honestly, guys, and what's so cool, they're so good for kids. They're so easy to take care of, and he's a big one, okay? And again, we're going to try him in here, and we're going to see how he does. If he is too much with the girls, because they've been being kept together through quarantine, we're going to separate and only keep the trio of girls in here. We have the caramel striped. Look at you, dude. So if we do develop eggs, you'll see them under here. I'll get one that's not that fidgety. Here you go. Here you go. Enjoy thine self. So their calcium bowl is going to be right here. And since they are being provided UVB, we'll be using calcium supplement without the D3 in there. Look at her. So one thing I absolutely love about her is you look at the top of her head, a couple of her scales are that orange color, but it looks like faded. I know. Hey, sweetie, how we doing? Can I take a look underneath so I can show them where eggs would be? Okay. So you'll see eggs here and here, and they'll almost look a little bumpy. Here we go. Go. Be free. Oh, look, told ya. They love their cave, dude. They love it. All right. And you. Oh, look at you. You are so adorable. And like, I love her patterning. It's just so unique These guys, they're such an awesome species to work with, guys. I really can't stress enough how excited I am to finally have these guys in my collection, because it's been something I've always wanted. I never had the finances or the capabilities of space to dedicate like I've wanted to. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this build video, and I really hope these fat tails enjoy this habitat as much as I did building it. They surely deserve it. Again, my name, guys, is Josh Halter. I'm the owner and founder of the BioDude. You can come visit my shop Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also come here on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And come and check us out. Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, you know, the whole 9 yards. We'll be doing an update video on this as it progresses as well. You know, we can see the blue tongue video is going to be uploaded soon. I really appreciate y'all's support. Dude abides.